So, I'd like to start us off by just saying, this is our very first live Dungeons & Dragons session. So this is going to be a lot of fun. This is a first for us to actually bring it out and perform for you guys. But all of us have worked together before, either as actors or as fellow players in D&D campaigns before. So
or as enemies.
As enemies in the case of these two. So it'll be very interesting seeing how the dynamics work for this one here. So to start us off, I'd just like to get everyone settled in. Get a little bit of ambiance going. The lights to start to turn low. Yes, awesome. Thank you very much. The fluorescent light. Oh, there we go. There we are.
Mood lighting.
Yeah. I love.
Yeah, just one over here is good.
It's good.
Thank you very much. The fluorescent lighting. Very, very aesthetic.
Really
I love the spotlights.
Very dungeon accurate.
So, we begin our story on a stormy night where thunder crackles and rain comes down upon the mountains, just as it did until momentarily ago. It would have been really cool if it was still storming outside when I started, but that's fine.
Darn, missed opportunity. Sure.
We begin our tale. We're a brave group of adventurers, following up on a letter detailing a meeting with a mysterious client, are waylaid when their carriage is destroyed by a rockslide while traveling through the mountains. Making their way to safety in the midst of a fierce storm, they arrive at the gates of Headstone, the town famous for being the resting place of many a famous hero, put to rest in the local cemetery. And there is where our story begins. Pelted down by mighty rains and gusts of wind, 4 travelers, cloaked, march towards the wooden gates outside the town. With a mighty knock upon the door, the leader amongst them calls for the townspeople inside. Would you like to introduce yourself, good sir?
I guess I'm the leader.
No, who decided that?
Who said you were the leader?
Yeah,
He's in front.
God just God just proclaimed me the leader. Okay.
Damn it.
I am Tamarok Steelhorn. I am a minotaur standing about 8 feet tall. I am a cleric of the silvered bearded one, Clangadin. I'm wearing amber-clad plate armor with 2 battle axes adorning my back, a long red cape, and they have little banners flying off them, which I just thaumaturgy to keep going. What was the other thing that I decided? Did I mention I'm a minotaur, so I'm big? I don't think that there's anything. Oh yeah, and I have a big tower shield on my back, but I think that's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
What do you think we should do, my quadruped friend?
Oh, I guess that's your way of introducing me. My name is Kegetheus Swinslow. I am standing roughly the same height, 8 feet. I am a centaur paladin, also of Clangadin. Wearing bright amber plate armor with a white trim, the large crossed battle axe symbol right in the center of my chest, and a long red cloak, whatever you put on horses, with that. And I have long, dirty blonde hair. It's turning gray, and it runs down my back and is in a loose, fishtail braid. It's very important.
I have no idea what a fishtail braid is.
I have hair like this. I know what a fishtail braid is.
The variance in description is what we come here for. The dress that horses wear, followed by a loose fishtail braid.
When he's bad, we take those little blinder things and put them on.
It really helps in combat.
Time to go to bed. What? No.
And standing behind these 2 mighty, devout followers of Clangadin is their traveling companion.
My name's Vo. I'm a lizard folk. Lizard person, and I have green scales all up and down my body. And you can see my large teeth. Sharp, crazy, scary teeth. And I have a thick, long tail, and I have got slung over my shoulder a big, long bow. But it's really, it's quite. It looks like it was made like really poorly. Like it looks like someone just kind of like put it together and was like, like kind of strung the little. Okay. This
Also,
is
we discussed like nothing before.
We were just meeting.
I've got a quiver on my back, and on behind me you can see 2 little short swords, and attached to both of my hips around my belt I have 2 skulls, and one is a lizard person, the other is also a lizard person skull, and you can see engraved on the.
Damn it, straight. No, it's right here.
Please tell us.
It's a visual, okay?
For those of you listening at home,
Thank you for showing us this again.
You can see engraved in the forehead of the left one. You can see the word "Mom," and the right one, "Dad."
Yes, we know. You tell us this every morning. Thank you.
I just have to remind you
It
that I
still
killed my
scares me.
parents.
That's edgy.
That wasn't clear.
and standing behind him, and thoroughly less edgy, I hope.
Or more.
I'm Keena. I am a little druid and I am a fire genasi. I am about 5'8" and I have bright red skin, kind of like a raspberry. And I have long black hair, and as I get angrier, my hair starts to grow flames, so, don't piss me off. She wears a very tight shirt that she likes to show off her boobies. What can I say? Her greatest power is her womanly physique, yes. And she also wears a long skirt and carries a small scimitar, and she's ready to fuck shit up.
Having
Knock,
knocked
knock.
upon the gate,
Hello?
you hear the sound of footsteps coming from the other side. Hold on, I'll be right there.
It's raining.
With
Please
a
let
loud
us in.
creak.
No, it just stopped raining.
Oh, right.
With a loud creak, the gate pulls open, and a short figure holding a lantern opens the way to you. Travelers, it's good to have you. My name is Allard. I am the gravekeeper here.
Don't you mean gatekeeper?
Bit of both.
Oh.
Lot of people die here.
I'll keep that in mind.
I don't like the sound of that.
We should
Do any of us?
Well, lead on. Gate gravekeeper.
Great.
You're absolutely drenched. Let me get you indoors.
Yes, do that.
He leads you up a hill. You notice that the village around is quite dilapidated. There are lights on in few of the homes, and most of them are dark, empty, and rotting. Only 3 homes amongst the rest appear to show any signs of life. Atop the hill, next to a chapel, he leads you to a small stone cottage and welcomes you in.
Can I insight check him?
You can indeed.
Did I see anyone else when we were walking up here?
Anybody?
There's movements inside the
I
cabins.
don't. Yeah.
We didn't see
Yeah.
anybody.
I let
No.
people in and I bury people. I
It's-
seem trustworthy.
It's
Don't trust the guy
nighttime.
with both names.
That's good. That's a good first roll.
What is it?
24.
Ooh.
24? All right, from your insight on this gentleman, you can tell that he is a somber, sad man, but he bears you no ill will.
As we're walking up this hill, I'm just like, so, have you heard of the silver-bearded savior?
Clangadin! Yes, we hear of him.
Damn it, he's heard of him. I wanted to give my spiel.
Oh, why don't you give it anyway? It'll be good fun to listen.
Well,
Oh, this again.
Don't worry, I have the book.
You have the
A
book?
large, like probably 500
Every
page
time
book
we
that's
go
like
anywhere,
I take
this
out a
big
pamphlet
and just
and I hand it to him.
we
fine. We'll save the book for another time.
please.
I made these specifically for this. We talked about this.
You can't include all the information in a pamphlet.
It is concise and short, and people pay attention
Would you
to
quit
them.
arguing and give it to him?
I'm sitting down at this point, like my head in my.
The
right
gravekeeper
hand.
takes the pamphlet in his hand and nods graciously, unsure of what to do as the two devout followers argue over how to express their religious faith.
Everything that you need to care about is in that pamphlet.
He sort of turns to look at the centaur, who is...
If you want more information, I have the book at any time.
Do you know how we got this big and strong? Because it wasn't genetics.
Well,
Faith.
All right, whatever you say, George Michael. And he welcomes you into his cottage.
I do not know who this Michael of
Now
George is.
the door is about 6 feet tall, so
I will duck.
Kegetheus and Tamarok find themselves...
I like have to like pull my shoulders in.
Tamarok finds himself compressed in a way that his physique was not meant to bend, but he makes it through the door.
Oh, sometimes I wish I
Are the,
didn't have
are the
horns.
ceilings just as low? Or?
The ceilings are higher.
Okay,
They can
that's
admit
good.
your height.
That is good. That is very good.
Ollard, the gravekeeper, places his lantern upon a table. Well, I do have quarters over to the side there, where you may rest.
I'm sorry, is this your house?
Yes,
That's very kind of you.
We were going to look for an inn
Yes.
or something.
I believe that
I'm
was
afraid
the plan.
the inn, well, the ceiling caved in about 7 years ago, and
Was it giants? Did
No.
giants cave it in?
Don't talk about giants!
Oh, talk! I'm sorry for raising my voice in
Can
your
we
home.
focus? Thank you.
No.
no, it weren't giants, it was the wood rot, which is a monster in and of itself in the carpentry world.
Sorry.
I'm, like literally, like is it alive?
Can we kill it?
The wood rot is, it's what happens when the rain gets in the wood, good sir. It weakens
yes.
the structure.
Okay.
Mother Nature.
That would be less exciting.
Yes,
Melora's a bitch.
indeed. Many a god come to this town for funerary rites, and many a god unleashes their wrath upon it. Well,
So you had one inn for the entire city?
we are but a small village here.
You had one inn?
Our economy is based around funeral ceremonies, sir.
My compatriot, may I spoke to you a moment?
Certainly.
My intelligence already starting to show. I pull you to the side a little bit, even though we're like huge.
We just turn away. We're not any farther.
So, we could do a service to these people and fix up their town
We could.
in Clangeddon's name.
Ooh. Convert an entire town.
Sweet deal.
I like the sound of it.
Shut.
We'll talk about that later. We'll see
Okay.
what this nice
What this
man,
gate gravekeeper
person.
has.
Or, yeah, what race is he?
What was he?
That's a good question.
Or what does he look like?
Yeah.
He's a shorter fella. By looking at him, you can tell that he is a humble gnome.
I mean,
He's a humble. I cannot tell if he is like a shorter human or a gnome, for I am very.
yeah, I was going like short by whose standard?
Because
like
I'm
our
8 feet
standard
tall.
or her standard?
Short,
We're
short
tall.
by my standards.
Okay.
He's a bog standard gnome.
Okay. Good to know.
If we're going by a rating scale, he's a gnome of gnomes. Very gnomely.
I could step on it.
All right.
Yes.
I'll watch where I'm stepping.
Step on those
So
things.
so
Yes.
you say you have rooms here. That's very kind of you. Do you have a stable?
Well, all the horses are dead, so there's plenty of room.
That
I
doesn't
don't
sound
know
very good
how
for
to
you.
feel about that.
I don't
Does
think
it
so.
still smell like them?
Are they
Oh.
still in there?
The rain and the wood rot has washed away the horse scent.
Oh, damn it, I thought you'd feel right at home. Well, we'll get you in there.
I suppose so. I will go in there.
I will make a nesting bale also in there.
But before you go, let me fix you some tea, everyone.
Ah, no. Tea is against my religion.
I like lean in. No, it's not. What are you talking about?
It's not very manly. We're all about war and stuff.
That's a good point.
Who drinks tea in war?
I like your thinking.
Okay.
Since you're not whispering and just putting a hand to the side of your mouth, he's like, well, I can get you some ale or some mead if that's more your fancy.
Ah! Yes.
I will have one of each.
I will also have.
I'll have the tea.
He steps aside and he brings back a pitcher of tea, which is not how you serve tea, but it's how he's serving it.
Oh,
And
it's very unfortunate that you have
he
to
has
serve
bottles
tea in that manner.
of ale and mead that he brings out. 2 of each for the centaur and the minotaur, and for Keena he brings out a glass of ale.
Oh. Yeah.
He places the platter out on the table before all of you and come, sit, Sora. And he looks over to Kegetheus and noticing his centaur physique, or kneel if that's
I will stand.
okay. I'm sorry, we don't get many centaurs.
I'm used to it.
I look at the chair. Would the chair break under my weight?
It's a stone stool. You feel fairly confident.
It's just a rock.
I very slowly lower myself into it.
So what
Roll
is
a dexterity check.
12.
As you sit on it, there's kind of a creak.
Oh god, this is made of stone. This is not a good sign.
Don't
But-
not be creaking like that.
But you find that after the initial creaking noise, it seems quite stable.
And then I release all the tension from my hoofs.
As he does, much like the spell Thunderclap, a wave of force distributes across the cabin, knocking paraphernalia loose and astray everywhere.
I told you to stop doing that.
I'm sorry, the power of Glangadin flows strongly from me.
In his calves, specifically.
We can't take you anywhere.
What is this platter he just set in front of us?
It's
Is it
a
just an empty tray. Just like, here you go.
platter with your drinks on it.
Oh,
So
You know,
Yeah,
as
so it
good
is-
hosts do when they bring people things.
Thank you.
usually just
I notice I've never had my drinks brought to me out of platter at your home, which says a lot.
you haven't been to my home.
We are from far from here.
I don't have a home. That's why.
As he
Tell them that.
There's
passes
no reason
the,
to lie.
We must be strong. It's a sob story, which shows weakness.
as he passes the drinks around to the adventurers, he sits himself in his small armchair and he says, while we're having our drinks, perhaps I could tell you a tale.
Why not?
I need something to do while I'm drinking, so yes.
Well, our town of Headstone might not be much to look at now, you see. But back in its prime, we had 5 funerals a day. It was quite the thing to see, I tell you. Over by the chapel there, our cemetery was so big we had to expand. The renovation was quite a thing, but years have not been kind. As people have moved towards the larger cities and this country has shifted in priorities, well, it's just myself and 3 retired adventurers here now.
3.
You could say,
Tired?
well, you could say it's where adventurers go to die.
Would we have heard of them?
We should leave immediately.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, you seem very spry and strong of form.
But spry is not a word I would use for my large muscular body, but yes.
And my aging.
He opens a thesaurus, bristling with mighty minotaur machismo.
Do I know what that is? Yes.
I understood one of those words because I am one.
Can we just get like the spark notes of this story?
Da.
Of course.
Spark note.
I heard some people say it a while ago.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this is the right context
I
to
think
use
it means
but
little version of story.
Yes, I believe it's an electric elemental term.
yes, that.
He says, well, the shorthand is, it's merely myself and my compatriots here now. Very few people come to this town, so you can imagine my surprise when I heard the fierce knocking from the gate all the way up here. Got quite a knocking on there, I must say, Mr. Minotaur.
That's why we make him knock on the doors.
I try my best.
He is in charge of knocking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just not of the party.
He,
Ah.
da.
Hey! Yes, but soon.
Yes.
We will see.
No.
I speak for not only our lord, but also this party.
He does not. He
Yes.
thinks he does, but he does not.
I do as I use thaumaturgy and like shake everything around me.
And as
It is official!
as he's doing that, her hair just starts to like slowly climb in flames, and she just shoots him down.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Everything that had been strewn around from him sitting down earlier is once again tossed into the air as he shouts.
I just begin like, because I have big hands, I just begin like slowly picking things up that are like not my size.
I'm so sorry you
Just
invited us into your home and we're making a mess.
It's quite all
It's
right.
what we do.
It's livelier than it's ever been in the last 20 years, I must say.
20
years.
20 years. That
So,
is very disappointing.
May I ask you a question, good
Why-
sir?
Oh, of course.
The people who visit here, do they usually leave?
Oh, of course. They come here to pay respect to their
How do
departed
they leave?
ancestors.
Okay.
How do they leave?
Yes. Like in boxes?
They walk or come in the carriages they came in, or
I want to insight check him.
Yeah.
I want to know if he's leaving.
I'm sorry. It's just like we walk in and we're just there's 3 adventurers and every other adventurer that usually dies is married here.
Yeah.
A non-natural 20.
Oh.
That's a natural
Natural
1.
Okay, so upon looking at him, your eyes begin to go bleary to one way and the other, and you kind of look either way, and you look down at your ale and you think to yourself, this is a manly drink.
I'm sorry, my eyes start to do that sometimes.
It
It's from
happens.
hitting my kin so much in the head.
But Kegetheus, he looks intently at this gnome man. He looks past the wiry beard and the unkempt hair. He leans over the table right into his face with microscopic accuracy. And he can see that this is but a kindly old man who probably couldn't lay a scratch on him if he tried. He's quite frail.
I have my hand on my lance anyway, just in case.
You have a lance?
I have a lance because I'm a horse.
Because I'm a horse.
Have you ever heard of a horse doing the lancing? Well, I do.
So the gravekeeper is just kind of shrunk back in his chair, and he's just like, well, I can... I'm glad you're so enraptured in my story.
I am.
So-
It's fascinating.
It is late, but if in the morning we were to search for someone who would possibly be able to fix our carriage?
Yes. Oh, well, there's a couple people in town here other than myself. Gimothi the Elder, he might be able to help you out. Back in the day, he and his son did a couple of things around town before he went to adventuring.
All right.
When you say went to adventuring, do you mean went to the cemetery?
Oh no, his son Gimothi the Younger. Oh, he's traveling abroad overseas. A good dragonborn lad he is.
So all the people in the cemetery, do they like stay in the ground?
Yeah, -1, and that's a bit of a story.
Okay.
I'd like to hear it.
This is what we're here for.
There.
We're doing our
As
God's
if on
work.
cue, there's a knock at the door.
I don't like that.
Oh, that must be Obi.
Oh,
You name your zombies?
Oh, he's not a zombie.
Oh, that's good.
Olard the
grab the lance
gravekeeper
tighter.
stands up, and he goes and opens the door. And there, standing in the doorframe, wearing a farmer's hat and loose clothing, is a skeleton with a piece of straw coming out of his mouth.
So not a zombie, but just a skeleton.
Oh, hello.
I just
I'm
walk
Obi.
right up to the door, place my hand on the gnome's shoulder, like, sir, do you know what this abomination is?
Oh, that's not very nice. I'm Hobie. I'm Hobie the skeleton. Nice to meet you.
I draw my arrow and I shoot it.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Hey, that is
Consulted what classes we were before.
24.
Yeah, your arrow like goes into the eye socket of this skeleton skull, and like he's been kind of waving. He just kind of stops short and goes ah, and just kind of turns, looks, and he goes, "Oh well, that's a hell of a howdy do."
I stab him! He's just a skeleton?
He's just a
I
skeleton
stab him
wearing
with the
farmer's
lance. I
clothes.
stab him with the lance.
I'm gonna drink the other beer on the table.
I'm stabbing him.
Okay, roll to attack.
Oh, that's not that great. That's a 14.
Yeah, that hits.
Yay. So I do. Where's my dice? This one. I only rolled a 1. So 6 points of damage.
Ouch.
I get 2 attacks. He's still alive.
He's still alive. He's still alive in quotation marks.
27.
Yeah, that'll hit.
11.
Yeah, you hit him.
I hold up my holy symbol. Fiend! And I use destroy undead. If he's a challenge rating of a half or lower, he instantly dies.
Well, he's not half or lower.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
So as you do that, though, the lance goes through and it bops his head off the second time, and it kind of rolls to the side, and he's just like, that's mildly inconvenient.
What
and
are
the holy symbol bursts and knocks a scattered array of bones around outside
I don't
the
know how
doorway.
to feel about this. This is too strong. Sir! Follow! We're leaving!
Sir, do you know that undead are a horrible abomination and Kanklangadin absolutely despises them? You would have known if you read the pamphlet.
Well, that's the thing, you see. He's not an undead.
What?
What?
This is what happens when you jump to
I
conclusions.
just dropped the lance.
Yes, well, you see, Obi's a bit of a unique case as far as the boundaries of life and death go.
Unique.
Please explain before I pick up the axe off my back.
Do you have anyone here? Do you have anyone here who has
Skin.
flesh?
Oh yeah, everybody else has the skin on their bones. Obi's the only one.
But he's the one person that happened to come to your door in the middle of the night.
Is he here?
He can't exactly sleep, can he? He's a skelly man.
But
That's
you
a
said
lie.
he's not dead.
Skeletons can't sleep.
Yeah, if you
Forever.
feel, I suppose.
When
I
I
put-
kill them.
I put them back to their eternal rest, but it didn't work.
Did he eat the
As you sort of-
fruit?
As you're arguing in your midst, the head that's rolled to the side just kind of, its jaw clacks and his head sort of tilts on the ground. He's like, listen, I don't mean to be a bother. My name's Obi. I'm.
You know what you are, monster!
I do some of the groundwork around here. I do some landscaping.
I go and pick up his head.
Oh, hello. Thank you.
He's talking.
As you do, you notice that there is a thin golden chain extending from the base of his skull down to the top of his spine.
What?
What spells, what magic do I have? None. Not a lot.
Glad you checked.
I have
Me too.
spells, but nothing that would be useful. I'm just going to put his head in my bag.
Wait.
We'll deal with you later!
Okay. Well, if you just give me a second here.
Shut up!
I
As
don't know
you-
what we're going to do about
We
this.
will throw him in the ocean.
I mean, you could let him talk.
We must purify him.
Oh God.
As you do that, the rest of the bones kind of come back together onto the rib cage and stand back up.
Is the bag just like...
His skull is sort of stuck in the bag. The chains tugging.
Stop it! Stop it!
like just shoving the bag onto my hip?
Stop!
Ollard kind of reaches up to pat you on the shoulder, but being a centaur, he kind of touches your groinal area instead and realizes how awkward it is.
I like reel up and almost kick him.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I can have it. It's
He's very ticklish.
I can't control that.
I'm
The
quite
lower
sorry.
half has a mind of its own.
Well, you see, the thing is, Obi was the squire to this land's first generation of heroes, and he's the only survivor among them.
Survivor.
Again,
No
he's a
skin.
skeleton.
Or muscle. Or anything else but bone. We're trained to kill that sort of shit.
This happens
Yeah.
every
Not
year.
to worry, he hates undead too. Considers it a bit of a racial slur.
He's hypocritical then. I don't understand.
You don't need to. Shut up and
Why
listen.
don't you sit down and I'll tell you the tale?
My question is, how much of my divine smite should I put into him?
Well, it won't do anything on him because he's not an undead.
But it still hurts things in general.
Yeah, you can't kill him. Believe me, we
What?
tried.
What?
Can we, like,
I'm so confused.
what if I just step on him until he is nothing? Like, grind him down.
Oh,
Put
some
him in a
raiders,
press.
some raiders that came to town a while back did a real good job of that. The dust formed way
What if
back
we-
into a
What
skeleton.
if we bury him?
There's always so many questions.
I don't like
Listen,
skeletons!
listen. Maybe we could find out whatever the stupid thing wants us to do and get away from the stupid skeleton. Yeah? Okay, listen.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
I still
Thank
have his
you.
head.
I'd like to keep him as part of my collection.
The head is still in my bag.
Well, if we can get out of here, I really don't care what you do with
I
it.
want a fifth party member. I suggested be this thing so we may examine him and determine how to destroy his evilness.
Hobie from inside the bag goes, okay, I can live with that.